Hi there and welcome to my channel. Keep calling it work in progress. Each day it seems to kind of take a little bit of its own journey. Kind of, maybe not many changes. Anyway, we're just following the yellow brick road. I'm going to take just a brief second to remind anyone listening that would like to have a conversation with me. And I'm talking about just everyday people like you and me. And the conversation would be about your particular experiences, stories of your life's journey. I do believe strongly that if we can come together and share our stories, that one, we really help one another. Because there's no doubt right now, a lot of us, in fact, most of us and maybe all of us are having our own particular struggles, issues, conflicts, who knows. But I know there are so many of us in this situation today. There's just a lot going on as we go through this human evolution. So I'm hoping to have these conversations with people just like you and me to share with others and help others. And also, I believe strongly we're going to discover we're more alike than not alike. So if this sounds interesting to you, something that you'd like to do, then right below this video is my contact information. Give me a holler and let's take it from there. Okie dokie. So today I think I'm going to have a pretty not so long, that's what I should call it, video. I think typically my videos are running about 30 minutes. But I want to stay very focused on something today that I got in my automatic writing. Kind of a combination of a download and automatic writing. So I've been kind of working with, struggling with some old triggers, things that are being triggered that are difficult, that are causing the emotional pain of fear and doubt and several other things. It's around anything medical, and I'm not having a medical issue. It's just this coming up actually just because of thinking about trying to get recommendations for an eye doctor. So we get triggered in so many crazy ways, but this is one that's been going on for me, and I've really been wanting to work with it, release it, and move out of this fear. So that's what I wrote about today. So when I write, I pose a question, and the question was about this thing I'm going through, and I'm asking about it. I'm asking what they can share. How could I be helped in some way? I'm asking for help. Not to change it, but how do I deal with it? How do I move through it? So that's what I'm looking for. So here's what came back. Well, first of all, several things. The main thing was to remember that my guides are always with me, regardless of me being aware of it. And that basically what it was saying to me is I'm really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on and what needs to be exposed and released, meaning old programs that are getting triggered, old beliefs, experiences, etc. These all are getting, many of the residue kind of that's left from these situations from the past are being triggered, and that it's really coming down to the really the breadcrumbs of it all, the little bit that's left. And yes, it is, they're agreeing it is a challenge and it doesn't feel well. But they're assuring me that they are always here, whether I'm aware of it or not, because one of my parts of my question was saying that I'm not feeling connected right now to them. I'm feeling more connected to this fear, and I'm feeling like that's where I'm kind of sitting, rather than feeling them or being able to kind of switch switch to a more accepting place of what's going on. So I want to share the profound thing I got, because you know, the personal stuff was definitely assuring me that they're here, that they are here for my best interest, and that whether I know that they're here or not, they're always here. And they're basically, without going into what exactly they said, they're running the show, but I get confused and caught up in thinking I'm in control. And that's that's exactly right. That's where I get lost. And when I get focused on that feeling, or that, what do I want, that thought system that I'm in control of something, then that's the fear thing, and that throws me into a whole lot of, ego conversations, certainly fear. Did I say fear? I probably said fear about 400 times now. But that's kind of what's going on. So, but here's the thing, the bottom line of what I took away from this several pages of writing and kind of the download that followed it. What my guides explained to me is, here's how life works, or here's how we get the experience. So the body, as we've talked before, is the vehicle to where this is where we have the experience, through the body. It's the vehicle to let to experience this life. And this life, my life, your life, is something that we decide before we incarnate. So we decided on, what we want to learn, or what we want to experience, etc. And then we forget, when we get here, that we forget the script. We don't remember what we've and it is like a script, it's like a play. And we forget, and we start to engage in life, and then we think we're this false self, the character in the lifetime, the character that's going through this. And that's where the confusion comes in, and fear comes in, and well, you're all having your own experience, right? But here's how it described this works, or here's how my guides described it works. It said their specific instructions to me were to understand that I'm spirit, that spirit is having a human experience, right? And the higher self is what is coming through this vehicle called the body. So it's coming through the body, and the spirit is experiencing, witnessing, just watching what is going on. And that as spirit, I am not the fear. I'm not any of the emotions that are coming up. I'm not that. I'm absolutely not that. I'm spirit having a human experience, and it is all happening through the body, because that's where we can have this experience. And so what it explained it like is saying, and this is the profound part for me, it was saying, think about this like when you're on social media and you're listening to somebody that's streaming live, right? It's just streaming live, and you're watching, listening to this happen. And that this is what happens every moment, every second in our everyday life. That life is constantly streaming through this body. That's what is going on. It's live streaming. Now, we may or may not be aware of that exact moment. We may or may not be aware of what is even happening. In fact, most often, as spirit having the human experience, we are distracted with other things. So while this life is streaming through the body in the now, right in the now moment, we're often running into some other kind of thinking, like, for example, me with this fear thing. So I'm experiencing fear, but I'm not in the moment, right? But my life is streaming my script, my play that I came in to do is actually streaming in live in my every now moment. So the instructions were for me to, one, get this through my head, get this clear in my mind, get this intention of really realizing that right now in this second, as I'm speaking, life is streaming through me, live streaming. And I can be a part of it if I can slow down, open my mind, relax, and then really let go of thinking I'm in control or I need to control something, and truly allow my guides in my mind, they're going to be there anyway, but it's coming from me to be the directors of this movie. And the me, the spirit, is just, watching, witnessing what's going on. Just like I do when I'm something streaming live that I'm watching on social media. Whether it's one of my the spiritual teachers that I like to listen to, or it could be like a movie coming in from Amazon that streams, right? I think that would be it as well. So basically, it's streaming, meaning, something happened when they said this to me. I just got this image of, when I'm on my iPad and I'm streaming, something's streaming live, listening, and I'm listening, I just got the picture. I got it. To me, this was the most amazing way to get through to me. This, for some reason. Not because I'm technical, because I am not. But I don't know, I guess I look at enough streaming things on social media that I like it. I do like when things are streaming. I like to listen to those teachers or whoever it is live like that. And in fact, so much so, there's a guy that I listen to that would be, he's in Australia, but so on a Saturday, my Saturday morning would be his Saturday night, and it would come in at 5 in the morning. And, everything was always recorded. I could watch it an hour after he did it on Facebook or YouTube. But I just wanted to watch that in the streaming live. I can't explain why, I just did. So this really, for me, was a very creative way for my guides to give me some help in what I'm asking for, and to beginning to let go of the grip that I have on this fear, this triggering that's going on, that's coming up like fear. And so they're telling me just relax, let go, breathe into allowing the moment to stream. Just allow the streaming of whatever is, what is, to come in the moment. And to do that many, many times, day and night. To, in other words, release this egoic pull that I'm having in experiencing this fear that I'm experiencing, because it wants to be released, and Lord knows I want to release it. At the same time, I can't resist it. When I have these things going on, I always say, I see you, I hear you, you're welcome here. So I'm saying that to this fear. But the feeling of it, the emotional feeling in the body, and usually for me it's fear, is solar plex, is very uncomfortable and exhausting. And, I can have this conflict going on in my head where my ego mind is saying, you don't have to be feeling this way. You've never minded going to an eye doctor. What's going on now? All of a sudden you have this fear coming up. You're fine. You don't mind that. You've always worn contacts. You're easy with the eye part. But, and then, the other side feels like it's being judged. And anyway, this thing goes on, and that's not getting me anywhere at all, because the ego always wants to save us in its own way, keep us also at the same time engaged in the fear. So, you know, I see that, I witness that, but I can lose it, you know, buy into it at the same time. And so, you know, today it was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm worn out. I don't want to keep going through this. And we're looking for, my husband and I, for eye doctor recommendations. So this is where some of this is coming up. And the reality is he's the one that's going to be going to the doctor first, because he hasn't had his eyes checked and I don't know how long. And I just did not that long ago. So I had all the testing, etc. And I think we both are getting closer to needing cataract surgery, so that's probably the thing that's triggering too. But all that is BS. It all is BS, because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a trigger, and it's keeping me stuck. And so, and I'm seeing it. But at the same time, even though I say all of it's BS, what it is my guides definitely are setting up the circumstances for me to begin to release the rest of this, you know, the triggers, the rest of the trauma in me, so that I can let it go and release it once and for all. It wants to be released, and I want it to be released. And all this is coming again. I know, you know, it stemmed from my childhood, where my mother had issues with the medical world and blah blah. And anyway, I wasn't introduced to anything medical in a positive way, put it that way. Yet, you know, I've said this before in other videos, it didn't stop me from having done what I have to do, but for right now it seems intense. And according to my guides, the intensity is around, it's time to let it go, right? I have, you know, and plus I have committed to really be on this path, not beyond, be on this path of, you know, letting go of all the trauma, letting go of the fear, letting go of all of that, and have and get to the place of being at peace and content and accepting what is. That's my goal. And I don't like the word goal, and I use it a lot, but I don't know what other word to use. That's my destination, but then I'm in the future. I don't know what else to say it, but that's where I want to be. And so I really don't have other distractions. I pretty much have made this my life, to experience this whole thing of letting go. Right now, there's a friend of ours that she's in her 90s, and we know her very well, but just haven't seen her in a number of years. We were all in a spiritual group together many years ago. Anyway, she's with hospice now, and she has her daughter who's been here helping her, is an amazing writer, and so she writes what's going on for her and her mother, and in fact her sister, who also is fighting cancer right now, as the mother is, and the mother is going through dementia. And really talking about how this has impacted her, and she's been pretty much the caregiver from her mom. And but anyway, it's like at some level it's too close to home for me. Even though Anne is older than I am, it's still something I need to start looking at. So that's also probably touching on fear, touching on, but it's also touching on reality in terms of not resisting. And as this daughter has shared her resistance, but now finally, and she's gone through a lot, let me just say that, with this, but finally coming to a place where she's wanting to be, and I think getting to be more in acceptance of what is really happening. So that's kind of another piece that I feel is probably helping me on a level that I'm not quite seeing it, because it's also very sad and hard to hear of, and then it's also triggering some things in me, and you know, the uncertainty of life, or the uncertainty of how we our living, our illnesses, our whatever, the getting older thing. So that's coming up as well. But the main thing I wanted to share, and I'm hoping this helps some of you, is to think about our life being exactly like social media when it's streaming live, and that our life is flowing, streaming through us, through the body, not us, but through spirit. And spirit's watching, the body is offering the experience, and it's streaming live in every moment. And how we can experience that is really to move into the moment. And so when we're feeling our anxiety or whatever it is that's going on that's distracting us, if we could just stop for a moment, take a deep breath, relax, and know that our guides are absolutely 100% there handling everything. It's a trust. And you know, when I have this automatic writing, particularly that more than just downloads, I feel like I'm having a conversation for sure. It's telepathic, but it's no different than being on the phone or in that way. I feel very much my guides are there, real, very real, and that I'm really there having that interaction. And that's a place I just want to start to be living in more, living in that reality, living in that experience, living in that experience. I think that's what is the best way to say it. So I do hope this helps somebody. I mean, for me, it was just profound to get this vision. And I tend to get things through images, through that way. So, you know, I know what it's like to stream things on my iPad, and I know what it's like to be, you know, the witness, the watcher, the observer of whatever's coming in, and how that feels, because it's, like I said, for me, for some reason, I'd much rather watch things live than after when they've been recorded. I don't know what that's about. I guess it just seems more, well, it's in the moment, right? That's probably, you know what that's probably saying, just getting this right now, is life could be so much more impactful, fulfilling for me if I were actually in the moment of the actual streaming, just like I am with the guy at 5 in the morning on a Saturday, right? Yeah. So that's what I think it's really saying. And I know how, like I said, I just much rather be present, be the watcher of something being streamed live than seeing the recording later. Now, obviously, I can't see all the things live all the time, so I'll watch the recording, of course. But certain things, like the 5 in the morning guy, really pull at me to be there for that. So I think that's another way I'm going to keep in mind this whole thing, this whole idea of live streaming. I feel I've made a pretty good shift right now into finding a way to start to move through this particular situation with the eye doctor, and feel pretty positive about it. Yeah. So that's going to be it. Believe it or not, that's it. However, I do have to take 1 second. If you like this video, please click on like, please subscribe, and if you'd like to have a conversation with me or make a comment, that would be even greater. Well, not really, but it'd be really good. If you want to make a comment about how do you see what I've just said, did it make sense? I mean, it's always the key, right? Am I able to communicate this in the way that it makes sense? I never know for sure if I am or not. So anyway, a comment would be great. My contact information is below, so if you'd like to have a conversation with me, as I spoke about at the beginning of this video, just, everyday people like you and me, and sharing your stories of your life's journey, and helping another person or many other people with your story. And also that helps us learn that we're more alike than not alike. So until next time, be kind to yourself. This is something I always say at the end of my videos, and that's something I'm also working on, diligently working on, quite honestly, the being kind to myself. Anyway, until next time, take care. Now we go through the clicking off this video with my little clicker, and I'm determined today I'm going to just click once and it's going to go off. Let's see what happens.